Okay, so with today's lesson, I want to talk about some more rhythm guitar stuff. That is not to say that a rhythm guitarist wouldn't play some lead things or a lead guitarist wouldn't play rhythm things. There's rarely hard distinctions between the two. These are just techniques that will improve your rhythm like guitar playing. So what I want to do is talk about chords and where you can find them across the neck. So there, in terms of major chords, we'll deal with C major today. There's typically the C shape major chord down here, or you can put the G on the top string. Or you could even go without the top string having the G. Use both E and A strings. So you have the G on the lowest note. It's that low fifth. Okay. C, E, G are the notes in the chord. It's good to know where you can find those major notes, C, E, and G, that's the triad, on the neck. So, for instance, here's C, E, and G. That is 3rd fret A, 2nd fret D, open G. Right? That's just part of the chord. That's the triad. Keep going up the next 3 strings. That's a major chord. Those are the 3 notes in a different order. G, C, E. So this shape you can use for chords all over the place, right? So if you were to switch fingers, you can then bar it on the 2nd fret and get B, E, F sharp, G, and keep going. That's just a bar chord going all the way up. There's another shape that's like an A major shape. So A major might be down here. That's 2nd fret of D, G, and B string. If you wanted to play that as a C, you could do bar it on 3rd fret. So you have a C here, you have a C here. The next big chunk would be a G shape, which we're all familiar with. Looks like this or this. You could do that barring on A. You get this guy. Now it shares the middle 3 strings D, G, and B as this A shape. But it's a different set of notes over here. There's another one used starting on the 8th fret. It's like an E major shape. Just bar it on 8. So there's 4 places you can find a C major chord. So all right, and you can keep going. So the next one would be up here, which is just a repeat of this one, now an octave up, but you have to do it slightly differently because you're not making use of any open strings. That's really a D major looking thing because they're used to this little triangle down here for D major. That's on the G, B, and E string. Really, that's the C down here because it's open. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm barring the G and the E on 12 and then putting a finger on 13 on B. So that gives you C major triads, which is what the C major chord is made up of, all over the place. So you can find them here, find them here, here, here. You can keep going. And that's just the top 3 strings. What about these 3? D, G, and B. So here. And those are just chunks of the full chord, right? I'm playing, that's 2 on D, open G, and 1 on B. That's this part of the C chord that's down here. When I did this here, just did these 3, that's part of the barred chord that looks like an A, just barred up 3 frets. Okay, so that's just this. And that's the same as down here, just up an octave. Now, the next three, A, D, and G, you have, that's 3, 2, open. A, D, G. That's the same thing as the bottom of a C chord down here. So that's, okay, so there's that, and there's this. This is a first inversion, because the E, which is the third of the chord, is on the bass. Next one is up here. And this is just part of this chord. It's just the octave of that. That's 15, 14, and 12 on the A, D, and G. And then for the bottom, it gets a little funky, but you could do an open one, which is, that's like a little power chord on C, I'm sorry, A, 3rd fret, D, 5th fret, and then open low E string. That's a first inversion, because the E is in the bass again. You could do a second inversion, which is G, C, E, 3rd fret of E, 3rd of A, 2nd of D. And you can slide up here, you can go, that's 8, 7, 5 on E, A, D, which is the same set of notes as this right here. And then you keep going. Alright, so that is helpful because if you're playing rhythm guitar, you don't necessarily need to always do a full chord. Sometimes that's necessary, sometimes it's too much. Sometimes you just want a few notes. Sometimes you want something that's not all the way on the low end of the guitar. You want something in the middle range. Sometimes you want something that's just up top. Always make sure you're in tune. Okay, sounds a bit better. Now that's just for C major, right? So those patterns repeat for every different key. So if we're in E major, right? So here's that E major, E major, E major. Okay, E major. So it's good to know how to do portions of chords, whether it's 3 strings, 4 strings, even 2 strings, right? If it's just... All right. Now minors are different shapes. All right. So let's say we were doing A minor. Okay. So it looks like an E shape, just down a string. On the top 3 strings, that's a pretty easy shape. That comes from this barred 5th fret E minor shape, which is really A minor. So here's. Okay. That was the top 3 strings, G, B, E. Here's D, G, B. Okay, now here's A, D, G. More power chord there. Now you might be like, why would I ever play these notes alone? Well, let me show you just the last 3 strings before I do that. So here's, this is not, okay, so here. I don't think I'd ever play this, but. So if you're playing some chords or whatever in a section of the guitar, in a position, I don't know the numbers or the names of positions, but you don't always want to play chords and then have to, if you're playing electric guitar, bar up and back down. It often sounds better if you stay in one area. For instance, if we're playing in the key of C, right? So here's C. And instead of going to F, I might do just hammer on my pinky on the G string, the 10th fret. So now I have what would be considered an F2 chord, because there's no A major to make it F. The A is not there, so I have this. And if I never took off the sticker. And if I wanted to go to a minor chord, A minor, without having to change positions, I could do this chord with these three strings in the middle, which is D, 10, G, 9, and B, 10. If I add the top string, I get 8. And that gives me an A minor chord without having to move my hand down to here, or back down here, or even up. So I can just stay. Now, if I wanted to do a G in this position, I'd have to like go down to this. That's why it's handy. Instead of having to go like just chords all day, or you can stay in one place, which is nice. And that sounds better. Even on piano, if you're playing chords with the right hand and octaves with the left, if you can keep your right hand in the same spot, even when you change chords, it sounds better. I have to demonstrate it, but it sounds better, sounds more professional. It sounds like it belongs in the right spot, rather than having to go, here's C major, now you have to shift to 4 notes, here's F, here's A, here's G. Like, it sounds better when it's, I don't think that makes any sense. So, spiders. So, it's important to kind of learn those things. And you might be thinking, well, great, now I just learned C major, maybe I learned A minor. But the truth is, once you learn and like you'll develop the patterns. I personally don't think consciously about, okay, I have to do a C shape with the 3rd on the bass here. Eventually, if you do this enough, you'll get used to the patterns of knowing where they're going to be.